In this training video, Cheryl, a 30-year-old female, is attending an appointment at her primary care office. Cheryl completed several screening tools which indicated excessive alcohol use. Based on her screening results, Cheryl's primary care physician referred her to the social worker.
So, Cheryl, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Dr. Johnson wanted me to talk to you today just about a questionnaire you filled out.
Yes.
So I'm Mika. I'm one of the social workers for the clinic. And I just needed to go over with you the audit screening, which is a screening for alcohol that they had you fill out today.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So I'm just going to go over the screening first just to make sure I have all the information correct.
Okay.
All right. So it says, how often do you drink alcohol? And you said 2 to 3 times per week.
Yes.
Is it closer to 2 or more like the 3 is probably more?
Closer to 3.
Okay, so it's closer to the 3. And then it says you usually drink 3 or 4 drinks when you do drink.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a drink for you?
A glass of wine.
Okay.
Or a bottle of beer.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll have like a mixed drink or just like whiskey.
Okay. So typically, is it really you kind of mix it back and forth?
I normally will start with beer and then I'll end it with something different.
Okay.
It depends how stressed I am.
Okay. So what kind of beer are you drinking? Are you drinking just a regular beer, like a Bud Light, or are you like one of the fancy beer drinkers? With
I don't like all the hops and stuff.
Okay.
I'm just like a Budweiser.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then are you drinking are we going with the big beers, or is this, like happy hour time?
Happy hour, the bigger ones are
like
cheaper.
Okay. So like a 20 ounce?
Yeah.
All right, and then with the wine, are you drinking typically like just a regular glass of wine, or do you buy the bottle?
No. If I'm out, it's like normally beer, but when
Okay.
I'm home, I'll just fill my glass to the top.
All right, and then you said a little bit about whiskey. Is whiskey kind of hit or miss, or?
It depends. I mean, if we're doing like a work party and we're celebrating, we'll open something
Okay.
a little stronger.
Okay, so whiskey tends to be like a celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then you said that at least monthly you're having at least one occasion where you're drinking 5 or more drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that monthly about average, or is that like the work celebration you were talking about?
Yeah, we do a lot of like after work activities.
Okay.
We're always going out, so monthly is a good.
Okay, and where do you work?
I'm a legal assistant.
Okay, so when you win a case or something like that, then it's time to
Or
celebrate.
if
Okay.
it's super stressful and it's like, all right, let's go out.
Okay, so just either reduce stress. So it's either celebrate or reduce stress because either we're not doing so good or we did great.
Or we did great.
All right, perfect. And then you've never had an occasion where you found that you weren't able to stop drinking.
Correct.
Okay. And then at least monthly you've had it where you failed to do something that you were supposed to do because of your drinking or because of like not feeling so good the next day?
Yeah, sometimes I'll take a personal day the next day, or I sleep in on accident.
Okay. So what is keeping you at home? Like what kind of symptoms are you having?
I'm just tired.
Okay.
So if I have like a 5-drink night, I'm just exhausted in the morning.
Okay. So it can leave you really fatigued and kind of heavy the next day?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then you've never had a period where you had to drink alcohol first thing in the morning?
No, I never needed like an eye opener or
Okay.
anything.
And then you've never had any guilt or kind of remorse about your drinking?
No, I mean, I don't think it's too much of a problem.
Okay. But you do say for this one that you've had at least once a month where you weren't able to remember the night before? Is that the 5 drink nights?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So at least once a month, you can't remember all of the night, or is it part of it?
Like a Friday or if we go out on like a Thursday or Friday, sometimes I'm like, I don't remember.
And how long have you been drinking at this level, would you say?
Well, I just got it. I moved up in the company, so that's been about a year.
Okay, so about a year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then no one's ever gotten injured because of your drinking.
No.
But you've at least had in the last year somebody tell you need to cut back or cut down?
Yeah, my fiance's brought it up once or twice.
Okay. And is it just your fiance, or has it been anybody else who's kind of noticed those things?
Just him.
Okay.
Someone else might have said something, but
He's the one that matters.
yeah.
Okay. So, is it okay if I explain to you kind of what the numbers mean?
Sure.
Okay. So what we look at is really how concerned we are that maybe your alcohol may put you in a category that what we consider high risk. So currently you're at a 14. And so what we know is that the way that you are currently drinking, it does put you at risk for some health consequences just related to the alcohol use. And so one of the things too is that the national standards are typically 1 drink a day for a woman, no more than 3 at a time, and then no more than 7 drinks in a week. All the research has shown that if you drink more than that, then we do have concerns that it may cause some physical health problems a little bit later on.
Oh, wow.
Man, how does that sound to you?
I drink more than 7 in a week.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. So,
Okay.
what do you like about the drinking?
It's a stress reliever.
Okay. So, stress.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Tastes great.
Tastes great.
Stress. It just
Okay.
alleviates everything.
So, reduces the stress.
Yeah.
It tastes great, and you have a good time when you're out.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the bad sides to it?
I don't think there's anything bad. Maybe my fiance.
Okay.
I don't like when he brings it up because then I feel bad about it.
Okay, so when he brings it up,
Yeah.
But the other thing is you've admitted that at least once a month, it really does make you use a day to just kind of recover.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it hasn't brought any issues up at work, and
okay, so
my boss has never mentioned it. So.
Okay. All right. So, but it hasn't caused any like consequence where you get in trouble at work.
No.
But you are using your days that you would have used maybe for a vacation to stay at home
recover.
because you have to deal with recovering from your drinking. Okay. So the other thing that we had you answer was a how likely you are to change scale, and you said you actually were pretty high up. You said about a 6 is where you're at on your readiness to change.
Yeah.
So you're about 60% ready, you think?
I mean, I know that I'm probably drinking a little too much.
Okay.
Because I mean, to like black out at 30 is a little much.
Okay.
So I know I have to make a change.
Okay.
I just don't know if I want to.
Okay. So why aren't you say a 2 or a 3? Like you said, so you feel like you're a good 6. Why aren't you a 2 or a 3?
Because I feel like if I have to for health reasons,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get motivated to do it.
Okay.
And I'm not totally just like blowing it off.
Okay. So why aren't you? So since you were pretty high, why aren't you like a 9?
Because that's a lot. I can't like cold turkey quit.
Okay.
I need something to relieve the stress.
Okay. So you said you've been drinking this way for about a year. How did you used to cope before you got to drinking at this level?
I would run a lot, do a lot of running, walking, gym. But now that I work almost 60 hours a week with the new tasks, I just don't have time.
Okay. So this has kind of replaced that stress reliever of the physical activity just because of with the increased responsibilities, which have kind of added more of the stress, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of a little bit easier to, kind of fit into your day.
Right.
Okay. So if you think about if you were going to make a change, what do you think that you feel like you could do to maybe address some of the drinking or kind of improve?
Maybe not fill the glass up all the way.
Okay. All right.
Because I'll fill it up to the brim that you have to like take a sip.
Okay. So it's almost like to the fountain, till it's like
like
the
bubbling
fountain.
over.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how much of that do you think you could pull back? So are we saying like to 3/4 of a glass? Are we saying to half a glass? Like what do you think? Like for the wine specifically, because that seems to be
that's my favorite part of the day. Maybe half a glass. I also have big glasses.
Okay.
I have the nice big.
Okay. So you have the one that you can fit the whole wine bottle in the glass.
Almost.
Okay. All right. So you think maybe you could go back to, no, we didn't get a number though, because you think you can go back to half a glass?
I could try.
Okay.
I don't want to have to like do the half a glass and then fill it up again because I feel like I didn't drink
All right.
enough.
All right. So you could cut it back to a half a glass. And so one of the things I think we still have to talk about though is okay, you can cut that back, but what other ways do you think you can think about to kind of reduce some of the stress? Because, I mean, you do work a lot. This is something that is kind of a part of your job, too, because you guys go out to celebrate.
Right.
So how do you think that you could kind of deal when you go out with maybe some of your coworkers? Because the wine you said was pretty much at home. So how do you cut back or make any changes to when you have to go out socially?
Drive myself.
Okay. All right.
I always carpool or take an Uber.
Okay.
If I have to drive myself, then I'll be responsible.
Okay, because you're like drinking and driving would be like a
no-go.
Okay, so for at home, we feel like you could do a little bit less, or maybe try half a glass. And then when you're going out, if you're the driver, then that would be a kind of a motivator for you to kind of cut back or not drink as much because you're not going to drink and drive.
Correct.
Okay, so those sound like some really good steps. On a scale of 1 to 10, though, how confident are you that you could try not both of them, but one of them?
Maybe like a 5.
Okay, 5 is good.
Yeah.
Which one do you think you'd be able to try first?
The driving one.
Okay. All right. So then what I'm going to do today is I'll create kind of a little action plan that you can kind of keep with you just to remind you. And so the idea is that over the next month that you would try to be the driver and see if that actually helps to cut down some of your alcohol use.
Yeah.
And then I'll have you come back and see me, and we'll kind of see if that's working for you. Do you have any problems from that? And if you do, then we'll kind of see what our next steps are, because our goal is just to keep you as healthy as possible. That's the reason why we're having this conversation.
Okay.
Okay, so that sounds like a plan?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing you next month, and I really hope everything works well for you. And I thank you so much for talking to me today. I know this is sometimes an uncomfortable conversation.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.